Hey there, if you're running a local food spot right now, I bet you've been told a million times that you need to be everywhere, right? Instagram, Yelp, DoorDash, Uber Eats, you name it. But here's the thing, relying solely on social media and delivery apps might actually be stunting your restaurant's growth. Today, we are diving into this explainer of digital marketing expert Miro Giovanni's insights. We're going to break down exactly why having your very own website consistently outperforms third-party platforms when it comes to real, sustainable growth in 2026.
Okay, let's think about user behavior for a second. Imagine a super hungry customer right now in the San Fernando Valley. They whip out their phone and search for best Peruvian restaurant in Van Nuys on Google Maps. Now, if you don't have a website, where exactly is Google supposed to send them? Nowhere good, that's for sure. You are literally leaving a high-intent customer, someone who wants to buy right now, entirely up to chance, just crossing your fingers that they'll scroll far enough down your Instagram page to magically find your address. Yikes.
So that leads us right into section 1, the rented land problem. To really grasp why an owned website beats the alternatives hands down, we've got to put them side by side. Look at third-party platforms like Instagram, Yelp, or DoorDash. Relying on them as your main hub is basically like building your entire business on rented land. You have practically zero control over the environment. Your biggest competitors are plastered right next to you. Distractions are literally everywhere, and let's be honest, every single restaurant ends up with a completely uniform look. But an owned website, that is your restaurant's true digital home base. You get total control, a super clear path to action for the customer, the space to tell your unique brand story, and a completely seamless experience. Now, don't get me wrong, Instagram is fantastic for setting the vibe, showing off your dining room, or posting a gorgeous mouth-watering shot of a new pasta dish. But it is definitely not built to quickly answer logistical questions. When someone is hungry right now, they don't want a vibe check, they want answers. What's on the menu? Are the prices accurate? Are you open right this second? Where do I park? Can I just order online? If they have to play detective and hunt through your Instagram highlights just to figure out your Tuesday hours, you've already lost them. They've already moved on to the place down the street that made it easy. And that brings us to a huge foundational point from the source material. Visibility is only the beginning. Getting eyes on your business online is great, but it's just not enough. Honestly, one of the biggest traps local business owners fall into is treating visibility like it's the finish line. You don't just need people to look at your restaurant. You need them to visit, to call, to order, to reserve a table, to ask about catering. The whole game is about turning that initial visibility into actual revenue.
Which brings us to section 2, your owned digital destination.
All right, so what exactly do we mean by an owned destination? Simply put, it's the one place online where you, the restaurant owner, fully control the whole shebang. The message, the design, the menu, the photos, the story, and the overall customer experience. Having an owned destination means you're no longer fighting against algorithms that randomly change and bury your posts. You're no longer competing with a massive wall of rivals all screaming for attention on a delivery app. Instead, you're the director. You control the entire narrative, from start to finish, guiding your customers exactly where you want them to go. And here is the absolute best part about this. Building this destination, it doesn't have to be some massive headache-inducing IT project. You really don't need a bunch of complicated bells and whistles. You just need a few core rock-solid elements. We're talking a simple homepage, a clear menu, your location and hours, a big old click the call button, straightforward directions, links for easy online ordering or reservations, and of course some killer food photos. That's it. That is your foundation for turning casual interest into paying customers. Let's move on to section 3, turning visibility into action. So what does the perfect customer journey actually look like? It maps out beautifully like this. Step 1, discovery. They find you on your Google business profile because they searched for, say, family restaurant in Encino. Step 2, a seamless visit. They click over from Google right to your website to get their immediate questions answered. And step 3, action. Because your website is hyper-focused and easy to use, they take a frictionless action without getting sidetracked. They click to call, reserve a table, or place an order. See, Google helps them discover you, for sure, but your website is what actually seals the deal and gets them to take that final step. This seamless pathway becomes absolutely vital if you ever decide to spend money on marketing. Say you're running paid ads for a killer lunch special, a grand opening, or a new catering service. If you send that paid traffic over to a cluttered social media profile, you're just creating massive friction. The customer lands there, they get distracted by a new notification, they start scrolling through comments, or worse, they just can't find the link to actually buy the lunch special you literally just paid to promote. Because remember, getting the traffic itself isn't the win. The real win is what happens after the click. A dedicated page on your website captures that ad traffic, immediately builds trust, and guides the visitor precisely to where they can call, order, or book. You're giving them exactly what they clicked on in the first place with absolutely zero distractions.
Now, let's talk about the device in everyone's pocket. Section 4, the mobile first impression.
Think about it. When do people usually search for restaurants? They're on the go. They're in the car, leaving work, or just walking around town. Did you know that if a web page takes longer than 3 seconds to load, over half of the users will just bounce? It's crazy but true. Since the vast majority of local restaurant searches happen on mobile, your site absolutely has to be optimized for a small screen. If a customer has to pinch and zoom and squint or wait forever for some massive PDF menu to load on their phone, your website is actively costing you money. In 2026, a lightning-fast mobile site that clearly shows the menu and has a huge, easy-to-tap phone number, that is quite literally your digital storefront.
Which brings us to our final core topic. Section 5, building trust and brand.
Beyond just pure functionality and working great on a phone, your owned website is hands down your most powerful tool for standing out from the crowd. Think about when a customer opens a third-party delivery app. Every single restaurant looks exactly the same. You get a tiny little square photo, a star rating, and a price tag. You become a total commodity. But listen, people do not only buy food.
They buy the experience. They buy trust, culture, comfort, and connection. A website gives you the actual canvas to tell your unique story. Maybe you're a family-owned spot that's been feeding the neighborhood for 20 years. Maybe your recipes were brought over from another country, or your chef has this incredible, fascinating background. You just can't tell that kind of rich, compelling story on a generic DoorDash menu. A clean, professional website builds immediate trust before a customer ever walks through your physical doors. It makes you look so much more established than a competitor who's just scraping by with a social media page. And on top of all that, having your own website lets you capture customer interest directly, which is the absolute secret sauce for long-term growth. On those rented third-party platforms, the platform hoards your customer data. You're completely at the mercy of their algorithm to ever get featured again. But with your own destination, you're in charge. You collect the email signups. You run the direct loyalty programs. You can even set up dedicated, easy-to-use forms for high-margin stuff like catering and private events. You're building a direct relationship and turning a one-time visitor into a highly valuable repeat regular.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a critical question to chew on regarding your own digital footprint. In today's hyper-competitive local market, your food might be out of this world excellent, but if people can't find you, if they can't trust you, or if they can't take action easily online, you are putting a hard cap on your own potential. So ask yourself right now, are you leaving your restaurant's growth to third-party platforms and algorithms you don't even control? Or are you finally ready to build a powerful digital home of your own?